Well, vive la fucking France, man!
What's up, people? It's another episode of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best podcast about new metal, which isn't just a music genre. It's a way of life. I'm one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horskow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
I've been better.
That says the man with the hangover. And joining us for the first time, our new friend from Toronto, Canada, if I remember correctly, Noah Grossman. Noah, thanks for joining.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Fantastic. So, in case you couldn't tell by the intro, tonight we are going to do a deep dive, or this episode, depending on when you're listening, on one of my favorite new metal records, Snot's debut album, Get Some. So, Tim, take it away.
I will say one of my favorite as well. This album is so fucking good. I'm glad we're doing this. First, though, let's tell everyone how we got to know Noah and all that stuff. And so you did a video, right?
I did. Yes.
And
I did
tell everybody what it was about. What it was about again.
Yeah, for sure. So the video was about kind of my I guess born again life into new metal. I was really, really into it as a kid, and then I suppressed it a lot because metalheads aren't allowed to like new metal. That's poser shit.
Yep.
Then I found r/new metal, and I got all fucking nostalgic and everything, and I started discovering a bunch of bands that I forgot and everything like that. So I kind of made a video to celebrate the r/new metal forum because it brought me back to my childhood, and now I'm happy to be myself in my music taste.
Yeah, man. And don't, you're like we were talking about before we started, like you're young, man. Don't let these kids steer you out of listening to shit. Fuck them kids, man.
Exactly. Tim and I think we've had this conversation a couple times. The heavy metal fans can be a little bit just obnoxious because they're drunk and they're, assholes. And then you have the hardcore scene, which is a little bit more gatekeepery, but like Mitchell made the remark of old men waving newspapers. And then you have the young kids who are completely intolerant. And the new metal revival that we're going through right now is pretty wild because everybody seems to be going at it with an open mind and kind of a smile. And it's like, hey, whatever, do your thing. Some bands were terrible, some bands were enjoyable, but there's a positivity that you don't see in a lot of other music scenes.
There really is, man. It's like there's no fucking bullshit arguing. It's in hardcore, it's like the same bullshit after the same, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the same kids arguing over the same old ass bands that no one gives a shit about anymore.
Oh my God. I don't want fucking Cro-Mags.
Yeah, like
I don't want to talk about the fucking Cro-Mags anymore.
Nobody cares anymore.
Like, yeah, we get it. Youth of today was cool like 48 years ago. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Inside Out, Jay hates. I love him, but enough already.
Enough. All right, so back to the positive stuff, Tim. Let's talk Snot.
All right, so we're going to talk about Get Some, released May 27th, 97 on Geffen Records, produced by T-Ray. And so I don't know if people remember T-Ray, but he does a lot of like hip hop stuff. I can't remember exactly all the stuff he did, but I'm pretty sure it was he did like Lakota Nostra stuff and all that, like Dilated Peoples. No, it was nonfiction he did. He did like all that kind of stuff. He also, I remember he did something for Helmet. So that's a weird one. But yeah, actually when you listen to the record, you kind of see why they went that route, I think. Because you do have some of them like funk hip hop vibes in there, but you don't really have, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have here? This was a hard record for me to.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there. Like I tried to do
isn't.
some diving, trying to find like period reviews, like reviews from that time. Yeah. I was coming up snake eyes. I found the obvious stuff, which is, they were all from Santa Barbara, California. They signed to Geffen Records, which is pretty funny because if you read that the new zine where they did an interview with Mikey Doling, we're gonna have him on sometime soon. Mikey talked about how they agreed verbally to Atlantic Records, and then they walked across the street and met with the Geffen guy, and the Geffen guys offered more money, so they said, okay, well, we'll sign with you. And then they came outside, and the Atlantic guys were across the street looking at them like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah,
which is pretty wild.
I think people know, not to cut you off, but I think people know that, Lynn died in the car accident and all that stuff. And
yeah,
the dog on the cover was also killed in the accident, unfortunately. And,
Totally derailed what could have been a really amazing career.
I did see one little fun fact thing though. It said that Sonny said on the day of the album release that dog had a litter of puppies. So
Oh, really? That's sick.
yeah. So there's a litter of the puppies out there. Also, I did read a lot of reviews on this record, and they were a lot of really bad reviews for this.
Wow.
A lot of people were
Really?
saying like it was just too many mashups of genres and they just couldn't do it right. But I don't know what these people were thinking back then, because this record's incredible.
And
Yeah.
to think how influential it was too, man. I mean, so many
Absolutely.
contemporary new metal bands cite this one, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the guitar riffing, the bass, it's all good, man.
I mean, so the band obviously, it has a cult following. And part of the reason I think it has a cult following is because they were cut short, right? I mean, we've talked about this before. I think the best song they've ever done was Absent, which the story behind that is they were told to go back into the studio to re-record a song. I think it was going to be The Box.
Yeah.
With Ross Robinson. He said, well, why don't we do something new?
Yeah.
And
he's
they
like,
came
fuck
out with
that.
Absent.
Yep.
Which is absolutely brilliant. You can hear the nods to Faith No More. You can hear the nods to Jane's Addiction.
Absolutely.
My top note I have on my page is I have 3 bullets. I have, first of all, this album begs to be listened to loud, which is true because every time I put it on, when I would listen to it again, because I was listening to it a couple times, it would get louder and louder and louder to the point where the wife upstairs opens the door and she yells, "What the fuck are you doing down there? Turn the radio down. I can hear it up here." The second half, I'm a big deep cut guy. The second half holds up surprisingly well. I actually think there's more new metal, traditional new metal in the second half than there is in the first.
You're right.
And then the other note I had here is it's a testament to the band's ability when you look at what all the members went on to do after the fact.
Yeah.
So like Toomer goes and plays in Hell Yeah. And Sonny Mayo plays in Amen. He plays in Seven Dust. He plays Head PE. You have, what's his name? Mikey Dolan goes on and tours for Soulfly. You had Jamie, the drummer. I think he ended up playing for Godsmack, I think, at one point. Like they all went on to do such amazing stuff. And it's like, well, shit, it really was lightning in a bottle, that first album.
Yeah, I do remember back then, like before the accident, Lynn was like real bad with drugs, and you remember he was getting arrested all the time and shit.
Yeah, he got arrested at Ozfest for coming naked out of the toilet. And they thought he was going to do time for that. He had a history in and out of correctional facilities. He
was robbing
past.
houses and shit.
Yeah. He had a bit of an interesting life. We'll put it that way. True story. He was the only artist. There was a porn series titled Groupie Confessions, where artists told their stories about stuff they did with groupies, and then it was reenacted by a couple of porn stars. He was the only one to star in his own scene.
Oh, okay.
So he told the story. What'd you say?
I said that doesn't surprise me at all.
He told the story and then he went and reenacted it.
Wait, fucking badass.
So Noah, in 97, how old were you? Like 3?
I wasn't alive in 97.
You weren't?
Yeah, I was born in 99. This came out 2 years before.
Yeah, it's 2021. Shit, man.
Yeah.
Yo, it's great talking to someone that wasn't even born when the record came out.
It's kind of wild, man. He was born.
Dude.
I was graduating college.
Yeah, no, yeah. I found this album. I think I was maybe just getting into high school or the year before that. I found it on one of those old MP3 websites.
Okay.
Like you go on like mp3.com and there's like a list of bands, and I found this one and I fucking fell in love.
That's great, man.
That is kind of wild. It's kind of wild. But when you think about it, Tim, like when we were Noah's age now, stuff that was 20 years before us was what, the 70s. Jesus, like Deep Purple.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
Smoke on the water.
I found this article. I don't know if you guys can see it. The tragic story of there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I highlighted a lot of it. I don't want to like read pages at a time, but this article actually has a lot of cool stuff on the record and stuff. So, I mean, it's like in the short. It says in 3 short years they score the major label deal, like just from playing shows. Like back then, I think you could do that, but nowadays I don't think that's possible. I don't think you could just go play like the Roxy right now as like a small, nobody knows you band and then score a label, especially Geffen.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they talked about Mikey Doling talked about it in that one interview where it was the Roxy, it was the Rainbow, it was all that Sunset Strip stuff, and they were around at the same time as System of a Down, as a lot of those California nu metal bands. So like when you went out and saw a bunch of what was rock bands at the time, it was all this stuff, which is pretty wild if you think about it. Like imagine walking in, seeing some unsigned band, and it's fucking System of a Down. You know, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's
and
the
your
thing,
name
like,
is
in 97
Snot, you know.
Yeah, that too. That yeah, it's you know, in 97 there's this huge fucking renaissance where every rock, especially out of California, every rock band that's coming out is a nu metal band, right? So so
Pretty much.
if one sticks out, then it's a big deal, you know?
Yeah. It's just like the amount of bands that were out back then, you know what I mean? Come doing that. But you also gotta remember back then, labels had the money to do that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but it kind of does at the same time. Especially with the mashup of genres. Like people back then, like they just wanted, okay, you're a rock band or you're a hip hop, you know what I mean? They didn't really sign bands that did that. I mean, how many genres are in this record?
There's fucking elevator music at one point on this record, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like the craziest mashup, but they did it so well. So maybe, you know, that goes to it. You know what I mean? But you never know. But it does say in here, by the time he was 27, Lynn, he spiraled into addiction, notched up a shitload of jail time for offenses ranging from weapons to assaulting a police officer to robbery. So, I mean, the dude had his demons, and, you know, I do think if he didn't die, though, they were the next huge band.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think they would have, especially with, I mean, and we've talked about this, right? With the work that Ross did with them on Absent, right? Like that was a taste of things to come. I think they really could have done some really amazing stuff with him. He might have taken them in a more probably aggressive direction, maybe streamlined a bit of the sound, you know, taking out some of the really crazy hijinky shit. Because at the end of the day, I mean, this is truly a punk rock album. If you think about it, this is a
100%.
punk rock album.
100%.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's sneering and snotty, and it's fast paced, and there's a couple songs where it actually sounds like it may just go off the fucking rails, right? Because they're going so fast. But it maintains cohesion to the point where it really is a fun listen.
Yeah, so Sonny was actually interviewed on this article, and he says on one level he was a criminal, on the other he'd love you more passionately than you've ever been loved. He was somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. So like, it's just crazy. Like he's doing the band thing, and then like at nighttime he's like robbing people. It's like the craziest shit, man.
Yeah.
You ever seen that little documentary? It's on YouTube. It's called Angel Sun. It's like a 15-minute thing with LeJean and Serge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Serge says, like, and you know, Serge, you know, I would imagine is a good judge of character. You know, he's a really philanthropic guy, and you know, he says like he was just a really loving person.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if the drugs had a part in him doing that wild shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Probably, right? I mean, that there was stories coming out of that Ozfest tour, right? That was nu metal's breakout year. That was 98. And they were talking about how it was just all insane backstage, and they were all, you know, crashing in each other's vans and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, it's still sad. Like I especially hate that the dog died in there too. You know what I mean?
So, it's kind of sucks. It's kind of sad.
It's terrible. Yeah, December 11th, 98 is when it happened. So I guess he got T-boned and killed instantly. Apparently, the stretch of highway he got killed on is like, ever since that happened, they shut down where he turned, so you can no longer do it anymore. So no one's ever died again on there. So
yeah, it was a notorious intersection, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So apparently, you know, it took you know, taking out like a dude that probably would have been a legend to, you know, shut it down. So, you know, but that's just the way the fucking world works, unfortunately, man. So
yeah, what a shame.
But yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go in. So track number 1, the lead off, Fuck the Record and Fuck the People, self-titled song Snot, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Is there a more balls out maneuver than to name check yourself in your song, in the first song on your first album? Like you're calling, I mean, VOD did it with Choke, and a couple other bands have done it. But to name drop yourself in the first song of your first album is kind of baller, right?
The first line too. The very first lyric is not, you know, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, I'll just go right here. Amazing opener. It just blasts right into that new feel, man. And it's like you listen to this record and you get like not like a happy feel to it, but you get like nothing can fuck with you kind of thing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're here to party.
It's
Yeah.
it's like just like it is a feel good record at the same time, but it's not like one of them records where you just like smile. It's one of them records that makes you get up and like do the fucking yard work you need to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's great, man. It's definitely some of like the funkiest influenced new metal though, for sure. That's what I get when I listen to this record. I mean, all of it's well written, and this track right here it just shows you what you're about to get into.
The thing that I noted here that jumped out to me and how it's done so well is there's a couple spots. I think it's the final bridge before they go into the last chorus where you have him, Toomer, and Sonny Mayo all doing vocals, but it is obvious who is who. Whereas, a lot of times you get the guitarist does like a backing vocal and he's just really kind of harmonizing or reemphasizing what the lead singer says. You can hear in the headphones that it's each one of them have their own delivery style, and it's better than the sum of its parts when it all comes together.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
So so Noah, let's hear it, man.
Yeah, so that fucking intro, man, that fuck the record and fuck the people. That's
yeah.
that's like iconic, like that when I think, even the term new metal, like that's one of the first things that pop into my head. It's just so angry. Do you guys know where that's from? Is that a sample from one of their shows?
If I remember an old interview where they said that was from something where they interviewed somebody. They were going around talking to like a crowd at a bar, talking about like the record, trying to record quotes, and they happened to get some fucking shithouse guy, and that was his response. I vaguely remember that story where it was not planned at all. They just happened to get it as a quote, and they decided to lead with it.
That is fucking. I would love to know where that guy is right now, and if he knows the fucking impact that he's had. Yeah.
Who would know that? I guarantee if you ask that on the r/ page, that somebody would know that.
Somebody would probably know. Yeah,
I would. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of that. I'm gonna ask that actually. That's a solid idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fucking people on there, so definitely somebody will know.
Yeah, it's up by like 10,000 now, I think.
Hell yeah, it's crazy.
Totally nuts. All right, so moving away from the opening track, we go into track number 2. Again, this stands the Tim second song test. Stupid, 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Thoughts on this one, Noah?
Yeah, so this is I didn't like this song at first. It grew on me progressively. I remember showing a friend this in high school, and he told me it sounded like a mix of Sublime and Pantera.
Yep.
It's like a super groovy but angry song. It really has like kind of like a funky, almost like slow ska-ish overtone, but it's so heavy still. Yeah, this is like a, now listening back now, this is like a 10 out of 10 track for me. I love this song.
Yeah. And I have the same thing written down. Right away, you get hit with that Sublime old punk sound.
The wah intro. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. That's why when you said that, I started laughing. It's got like the most infectious bass lines in it too. Like this whole album is just, it grabs you, man. Every instrument grabs you in here. Even like Lane's voice, man, or Lynn. It just grabs you, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Lane Staley. I'm gonna say Lane so many times
Staley.
tonight,
Yeah.
so I always mix them up. So. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very infectious track that makes you go back and listen to it again and again and again,
And it ends. I mean, so my notes were, you can really feel the funk influence on this. Again, how it starts with the slow snare, right, and the wah intro. This is one of those rare songs which is hard without being super heavy, is my notes, right? Because it's a hard track, but it's not necessarily heavy until that final verse.
Yeah,
right. The final verse, he goes kind of, ballistic.
I think a lot of people, I think tracks like this are the reason a lot of people give it bad reviews, because they don't know where to go with it. It's like, where do I go with what's going on here? Do I call it a punk record? Do I call it a new record? So
right.
I think it's like why a lot of people just gave it shit reviews, because they just, they couldn't get into it.
And I kind of wonder, Tim, is it because of the test of time that someone like you or I would, after listening to like the Dillinger Escape Plan, a lot of that grind stuff, right, where they just throw a whole bunch of riffs together, right, and end up with a song, the kind of like schizophrenic nature it's kind of like a no big deal to us. We're just like, they're just doing something a little different right now.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's at the same time though, it's like a revolutionary kind of thing, because then, like Noah was saying before, a lot of bands, how many bands were trying to, recreate that. So that's a great point that you make. So, I mean, that's really all I can think of right there.
Yeah,
Any other thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, I guess like on the point of, so many different genres and people not knowing what to make of it. I guess now, like heavy metal fans in particular are so used to that, that like there are bands out there like Dillinger Escape Plan and Wormrod and bands that just mix so many genres together but in a much more extreme way. This is almost tame to us now, but maybe at the time those reviewers were like, what the fuck am I listening to, kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Especially live, it's kind of like you're trying to bob your head, and then it goes into the Sublime thing, and then it goes punk, and you're like, wait a minute, like, what do I do here?
I was supposed to be moshing. Why am I like dancing now?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you just name check Wormrot?
I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see they have that whole merch page of them playing the show with the goat? Have you seen that?
Awesome. I know the picture you're talking about.
Have you seen that picture, Tim? They played a show somewhere and like a goat showed up and stood in front of them as they were playing.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. The show's on YouTube.
They have a merch page where you can buy like blankets and a picture and a poster and like coasters of the goat watching the guy play. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
So cool.
I need that now.
I gotta find the link. I'll put it in the show notes.
I want a blanket with a goat on it.
Go watching a dude play grindcore.
Yeah, shit rips.
So now we got track number 3, Joyride, 2 minutes 26 seconds. This is almost the shortest song on the album. This, to me, I think this is a perfect choice for track 3, right? Because you have the overwhelming snottiness of track 1. You have the funk in track 2. Track 3, this is an old school up-tempo punk song, right?
Yeah.
The drumming, right? It's a lot of fast snare. The snare rolls sound fantastic. The fact that there's a gang chorus, right? And the gang chorus stops and you hear a 4 on the floor with the bass drum, and then they go right into the guitar riff. Like, I think this is fucking great. It's a great way to just, again, showing your diversity. If you think about it, the first 6 tracks on this album are completely all over the place. And maybe that's why, Tim, the reviewers didn't like it, because depending upon what your interests are, you're going to find something you like, odds are, in those 6 songs.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best tracks on the record.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the opening riff. It's just sets it off great. It's got that LA punk influence in it right there. Yeah, absolutely love this track, man. It's another one I keep going back and listening to. And Lynn's vocals in this song are one of the best on the record as well. Another feel-good song. It's like a summer song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Again, put it up loud and drive around fast.
The only thing that sucks about this song is the car crashing sound effects in it, and I'm sure they regretted that shit.
Yeah. That's one of those in hindsight. You're like, yeah,
it's rough, man. I remember listening to it. I'm like, damn, that's rough, dude.
Yeah, knowing what happened. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't go back and take that out, man. Honestly, but what are you gonna do at this point? But the song's called Joyride, so
yeah. I mean, what did you think it was gonna be about, right?
Yeah.
How did you think it was gonna end? What are your thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, like you said, Jay, the total like old school punk vibes here. I get like Motorhead vibes like right off the bat, like the like super fast pace, and then there's that quick pause, that break, and then the that kick bass drum, which is so fucking badass. Like it breaks down into the drop, which is awesome. Every time I listen to the song though, the car crash noise along with the lyrics, there's something just kind of like morbid about this track. Like it's about driving really fast and being dangerous. So obviously knowing what happened, it's kind of fucking bizarre that they made a song this good that would eventually kind of foreshadow what would happen. But yeah, still such a good song. Total punk vibes here. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's the type of track that gets people running in circles and shit,
Yeah, you could open a show with this song and it would get everybody up and moving really quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in LA, man, because that punk shit is huge out there. So
yeah, big time. Now we got track number 4. I'm gonna start with you, Tim. This is 3 minutes and 25 seconds, The Box.
So only single from the record, right?
I think so, yeah.
Damn good song though.
Yes.
And I'm happy they didn't redo it, because I hate when bands do that and then they butcher it. Because when you try and redo it and you try and add in that flair that can get you like bigger radio stats and all that shit, it never works. Just don't do that shit anymore. And Ross, that's why Ross is a fucking genius, because he said, fuck that. Let's just do a different one because you guys have it in you. And that's smart shit right there. And to me, that's why I think he's one of the best producers out there. You know what I mean? Like he totally said, fuck Geffen, we're going to do another track.
Yeah. We
And
could
look what
re-record
happens with
that, or we could do something new. And they were like, let's do something new. What are your thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, man. Like this is in my opinion, this is like the perfect placement for this song in the album. Like, you know, you got 3 songs right off the bat. They're like fast and hard, and then the beginning of the box is like kind of slow and tame and kind of mellow. And then, you know, obviously the chorus gets super hard and loud. And I just feel like having this at song number 4, it's like the perfect, you know, balance. You're not going to be, you know, driving 100 miles per hour for 20 minutes straight. You're going to slow down a little bit in the middle. So, yeah, this.
Yeah. The chorus of this song is one of the most memorable parts of this record, I think.
Yep.
No, 100. I totally agree.
My note here is I have it underlined. I said Lynn could have been a soul singer.
Dude, his voice is fucking amazing.
His voice is amazing. Like when he actually tries to like croon, like he can sing. Like he legit sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome,
you're right, man.
Awesome clean vocals. Like there's not that many guys that can do clean vocals and the kind of shouting that he does, and he does it really fucking well.
He does, man. It's hard to do that shit, like you said, like especially in a live setting. Especially if you're fucking drinking or, you know what I mean, getting high or all that kind of shit.
Yeah, how do you go the ups and downs? Yeah.
Because it's kind of like last night, like after the Pantera thing, I'm like, let's watch fucking Alice in Chains Unplugged, and you just get drawn into like how fucked up he is, but how he just kills it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a YouTube channel called Liberated Tapes Archive. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
Yep. Yeah.
The Snot shows they put, like, he sounds the fucking same live he does in the studio, if not better. You know, like the shit that he can fucking do live, it's unreal.
I remember I threw that in a link into a message for Jay, and then he messages me 3 months later. Bro, did you see this page? I'm like, I sent that to you 3 fucking months ago.
I'm never gonna fucking live this down. I'm like, Tim, have you ever seen this? Is awesome. He's like, dude, check your fucking history, man. I sent it to you 3 months ago. I'm like, oh shit, my bad, man.
Yeah.
But dude, there's so many good shows on there, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's good for me too, because, you know, I can't fucking see any, you know, the super underground stuff like From Zero. I can't see any fucking From Zero shows now. So being able to go back and watch that on YouTube, it's dope. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great for guys like you that are younger. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
man.
just finding this stuff for the first time.
Yeah.
So now we come to track 5, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. This is Snooze Button. And I'm going to start. I'm going to start with you. Yeah, sure.
So this is like, I don't want to say it's a weak point in the album for me, but I never cared for this song that much. You know, I never chose it when, you know, if I'm looking for individual songs, I never clicked on it. That being said, though, the intro, you know, with the alarm clock going off, I think
that's the OG alarm clock riff there.
Yeah,
Tim, like that is the OG. Awesome. Yeah,
it's really, really fucking cool. This is like the perfect wake up song, you know. Yeah, like I don't think I have much to say about this one. It's a good song. I enjoy listening to it. I'll never skip it if it comes on, you know, on my shuffle. But it's just, it doesn't stick out for me, you know. But it's solid regardless.
Funny you say that, because this is the only song on the record I don't really care for.
Really?
I love the bass lines in it, and I mean, it has a great chorus and stuff, but it's one of them tracks I'm just like, I could do without it. I mean, Lynn's vocals in it are really fucking good, but it's one of them tracks where I get bored of. It's a kind of boring track for me.
See, I love this one. I love the back and forth him and Toomer do at the end, where Toomer's yelling "obey" and he's singing, right? Like I just think it's fucking great. Like I fucking love it. But I mean, that whole first half, and this is, you know, brings us, the next song is the instrumental, right? The first segue.
Right.
I just think they just bang, 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 nonstop out the gate. 5 amazing tracks, and then they take a breath.
Yeah, well, usually to songs that I don't like, you usually love, and vice versa. So
yeah, this is true. Yeah. Which now I got to think, okay, I think I know what your favorite song is going to be. Okay. We'll come back to that. So, any other thoughts, Noah? Snooze button?
Yeah, no, like I think I definitely don't dislike it. I think it's a solid song. it's just doesn't stick out for me. Like there are songs in this album that, you know, are some of my favorite songs of all time. This just isn't one of them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's
I
take
think
us
I think
to-
me and you have pretty much similar things for this record.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm the fucking odd man out here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take us to the first segue, which is 313. This is an instrumental, track number 6 at 2 minutes 25 seconds. And this is them basically saying, Lynn, hold on a second. We're going to do some jazz funky shit.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the drumming in this song. Them ghost note parts are fucking amazing. That the drumming in this whole record is great, but especially in this track, man. Because, you know, if you play drums, you appreciate that kind of stuff in this song. You know what I mean?
And if you watch those live videos, right? And even if you remember seeing them, because I saw these guys, I think this is the band I've seen the most in my life.
Oh, you are so fucking lucky.
This and Converge, oddly enough. If you watch him play, he's headbanging the whole time. So his head is going. I don't know how he fucking drums and does that at the same time.
It's
right.
hard, man.
And his head is going and he's hitting all the notes and he literally looked like Animal. The first time I saw them, it was with Dub War. We talked about this. And he literally looked like Animal behind the kick because all you see is limbs. And I think he had dreads at the time just flying around. It was totally nuts.
Yeah. This is one of them bands, too, that puts ambience in their music, I think, without even knowing they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always feel like a special way about bands that can put ambience in music without really even knowing they're doing it. And this is one of them, especially in this song. If you go back and listen to it, you hear it. Like maybe it was something they planned on doing, but I think a lot of bands don't. And the guitar players are just so good. They can add that extra note. You know what I mean? It's just really good stuff. I usually hate instrumental songs, but I love this track.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I was driving last week and it was dark outside and I played this and it was like, holy shit. Like it's the perfect song for like a night drive. You know, I know what you mean, Tim, by the ambient. It like kind of puts you in like a dream-like state. It's fucking
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Our fucking things are like the same. It's hilarious.
You can literally put this and the other instrumental stuff. You can daisy chain them into a playlist and put it on repeat, and it would work, right? It would be like kind of like background chill out music, and at no point you're like, "This is Snot." Like, really?
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't think
Definitely.
about that.
All right, we have to pause. All right, we're back.
All right, we're back. We're going to kick it off with, I would say, I guess this is kind of getting close to the second half of the album. Track number 7, 456. Is this the longest track? This is the longest track. This is Get Some. I'll start this one off. I think this is the best song on the album. I think it's a hard funk intro into a hard metal sound. It is impossible to not nod your head to this when they get going. And I honestly think, and even back to my younger days, right, when I was Noah's age, this was always my favorite song on the album because I just think it's put together perfectly. And I think if I remember correctly, it ends on a note and then it kind of quietly goes into like they kept playing after the lyrics are actually over, right? Yeah. By far the best song on the album.
Yeah. I always expect like a title track of a record to be like really good because I think a lot of bands like save like really good songs for the title track, and there's no exception here. Great fucking song. This must has to be one of them songs that was super fun to play live too. Because I mean, a lot of the guitar parts in this are written so fucking well, man. It's a super fun guitar work in here, man. And I think as the record goes on, even further beyond this point, is where you get more of the better songs too.
I don't know. We're gonna have to put a pin in that one. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that this isn't a single because this is just such a accessible track. I feel like this is like something I can show my dad and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of groovy." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like super funky. It's not my favorite on the album. It's maybe like my second or third favorite. That being said, like this is such a solid new metal track. Like this is like the quintessential, you know, you take all the genres that encompass new metal, Get Some by Snot is like it's right there. You know, it's hip hop, it's funk, it's metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's
almost like he raps a little bit in here, but he doesn't at the same time.
For sure. Yeah, there's totally like a hip hop kind of influence in his vocal delivery. Yeah,
absolutely.
Such a fucking awesome song.
Yeah, I think as the record went on, the tracks got better.
I tend to agree with you there.
I think so. I think there's we'll get to the next couple songs and I'll give my thoughts. So now we hit track number 8, which is the halfway point in the album. This is Deadfall, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So first question, have either of you seen the movie that this song is based on?
Absolutely not.
No.
I had to do research.
Fucking terrible. And at the same time, I mean, I've said this before. If reincarnation is real and I got to choose 2 people to be reincarnated as, my first choice is Fred Durst, would beyond the shadow of a doubt. My second choice is Nick Cage. He is totally insane in this movie. And the fact that they took the whole movie, they basically retold the plot, and they used all of his insane dialogue, makes it even crazier. There's a video on YouTube of Nick Cage losing his shit. 90% of it, that's the actual title of the movie. The title of the video is Nick Cage losing his shit. 90% of that is from this movie. He goes nuts about hangers and stuff. They fucking trying to kill me, man. It's fucking insane.
How old is the movie again?
Oh, it's an early one of his. And Michael Biehn was the protagonist, and I forget who the woman was. And it's terrible, but it's worth a watch just for his scenes.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to link us.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, because I had no idea that Nick Cage was in Deadfall. Is he Sam fucking Peckinpah?
I think so. No. Sam Peckinpah was the guy who rips him off, which is funny because Sam Peckinpah is a famous director. He did what's it called? The Magnificent Seven, I think was him.
Okay.
Was that him? Hold on.
I don't even know who. Funny enough, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, it was. Let me see. Here we go. Oh, Michael Biehn, Sarah Trigger, Nick Cage, James Coburn. Sam Peckinpah was Talia Shire? Really? Just find a torrent and watch it.
Yeah.
Find a torrent, watch it, because I can't. I will put the link to the Nick Cage video in the show notes. It is hysterical. There's like 6 million views of this video, and I think 3 million of them are me. Because if I'm having a bad day, you put it on, and it's just Nick Cage losing his mind. No, okay, so Peckinpah was the director who did Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. He did Straw Dog. The Wild Bunch is the movie I'm thinking of. He did The Wild Bunch. Totally nuts. But yeah, I can't sell this movie up. But the song actually mirrors the insanity of the movie. It's all over the place. The country breakdown with the banjo, I lose my shit every time. Like, you can't help but laugh. You can't help but laugh. And it's Warp Speed. And believe it or not, this song was on Guitar Hero, and it was one of the hardest songs to play.
Oh yeah, it was. You're right. Yeah.
What Guitar Hero?
I forgot, but it was in Guitar Hero.
That is fucking awesome. What a perfect song for Guitar Hero.
I totally forgot about that, Joe.
Kind of insane, but yeah, it's great. I mean, when we get down to like Mr. Brett and stuff, you listen to where they got some of their inspiration, some of their lyrics. It really was just them just having a good fucking time. And I've said it before, or Nick said it before, and Nick will say it again.
Well, vive la fucking France, man!
Like, Nick Cage says that in the movie, and it's, I'll find the video and send it to you guys. You can watch it tonight before you go to bed. You're going to watch it 15 times. It is unreal. But yeah, this to me is the turning point in the album, after the next song, because from there on out, I think the second half of this album, Tim, you said it gets better. I think it gets more traditional nu metal in the second half.
That's why I like it.
I think it gets more, there's a little less funk and a little less soul and a little less of the hip hoppy stuff, and it gets more towards the straight and narrow nu metal. And maybe that's why I think you like it. And I'm kind of like, nah, okay.
Yeah. But this track is another one of those SoCal punk songs. And I love the dual vocal attack in this one. It's just something I've always been into, is that dual vocal thing, but when it's done right, and it's done right on this one.
Yeah,
Great
a lot of bands kind of screw that up, don't they?
They do.
You know who does it well? And you said it.
Though.
You said it to Matt. Boundaries does it well, because their guitarist, when he does their background stuff, he sounds totally different than Matt. But then again, Matt sounds like he's gargling a fucking cheese grater. I don't know how he gets, for a guy that small, I don't know how he gets his voice that heavy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this one, Noah?
Yeah, this is such a good fucking song. This is like, yeah, I think Tim said it, I think Jay said it. You fucking laugh every time you hear it. Like, it's so absurd. It's like, it's wild. Like, there's a fucking banjo breakdown in a in a fucking metal song. Like what? But it's so good. Yeah, I growing up, I had no idea what the song was about. It wasn't until later on that I realized it was based on a movie, and it kind of made more sense to me. But yeah, it absolutely like ridiculous, but in the best way possible.
Yeah. Yep. This is one of those things you kind of wish he was still around just to hear him play this live, right?
I fucking wish.
I wonder, I don't ever remember paying attention to see if they played this live. They definitely played the next song live, but I don't ever remember them playing Deadfall, but it's probably just I was a kid. I don't remember. So let's go to the next song. So this is track number 9, 3 minutes and 34 seconds. I Just Lie, which is unrecordable in 2021.
This is my favorite song in the entire album.
It is as a young guy, this was my favorite song because it is heavy and there's a nice break beat to it, like there's a hop to it, and it's kind of funny.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious. It brings me back to when I first started discovering girls. You know what I mean? It's such a puberty song.
It is a puberty song. It is.
Dude, it's so heavy. It's so angry and self-deprecating, but confident. To me, this song like encompasses the whole philosophy of nu metal, of not taking yourself so seriously but still being confident.
And Lynn was a hell of a frontman. And I was listening. Oh, it was the Doc Coyle interview with Asha Vildsen, where he said, the sign of a good frontman is every girl wants to fuck them and every guy wants to be them. And Lynn Straight would definitely fit right in that vein.
And that is a fucking amazing line right there, because it's so goddamn true.
It's true. The best frontmen, that's what everybody wants.
Yeah. I mean, look at what's his name from Black Veil Brides and all that shit.
Andy Black.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing with the dude from the show.
They were using Suicide Silence. Mitch Lucker was the example.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that dude was just a ridiculous vocalist.
Oh my god, dude. The highs he can do, I don't think any deathcore band has been able to mimic what he's done.
Another fucking dude that died, that's just shitty.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, while we're cross-pollinating, if you don't listen to Doc Coyle's The X-Man podcast, you really should. He is by far, Tim and I have come to the conclusion that he is by far the best interviewer in the heavy metal and extreme music scene podcast genre. He's
the best interviewer in any music genre.
It doesn't sound like an interview. It's more just him hanging out, having a conversation. And you can tell it's not over scripted. And the guest, the Tim Williams one he did with VOD, I giggled most of it. I just think it's awesome. But yeah, check out Doc. We're going to get him on the show. I'm committed. We're going to find a way to get him onto the show. But yeah, I Just Lie. Great song. Lots and lots of anal sex and photo. Again, unrecordable in 2021, but it's still an amazing song.
Yeah, this is, and Noah, here we go again. This is my favorite track on the record.
Yeah.
Goddamn amazing song.
Oh,
the chorus gets stuck in your head.
That was not my pick. That was not my pick for your best track of the album.
When we get to it, hold on. When we get to it, you say, and I'm gonna see how surprised I am. But this is the best song on this record. The vocals in this song are great. The guitar work's great. It's just all around a perfect song.
You mentioned that we haven't talked a lot about that yet. We're halfway through the album. The guitar work on this album. Right?
It's fucking extraordinary.
Sonny Mayo is obviously very talented from all the bands he's played with. Again, another great Doc Coyle episode. And Mikey Doling was great. I mean, he toured with Soulfly. He knows what he's doing. But the way that they interplay off each other, like there's not one. I hate to make this analogy because somebody's going to look at their fucking record or phone or boo it. It's almost like Kerry King Hanneman-esque, where they each have their own style, but they don't step on each other. You know what I mean? If you think about it, Kerry King's style of playing was way more out of control. Jeff Hanneman was an amazing guitar maestro, but they complemented each other, being completely different. And with Mikey Doling and with Sonny Mayo, I actually think they do the same thing.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Taking us through track number 10. This is the second instrumental segue. Get Some ODs, 58 seconds. Again, this is driving.
Not much to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can skip it unless Noah has something.
Solid, good listening, easy listening.
Went back. I went back and I compared another band that does segues, and obviously it's Failure, right? Fantastic Planet, Magnified, the one after what was it? The one after Fantastic Planet, their comeback album. I forget the name of it. They do segues as well. And I kind of think it fits in the same way that Snot does theirs, where it almost acts as a transition point into something different. And by transition point into something different, we go to track number 11, which is Unplugged. This is 4 minutes, 11 seconds. This to me is the first song that sounds out the gate nu metal. Tim, I thought this was going to be your pick. I thought this was going to be your favorite song on the album. It's got a heavy beginning. It's got Lynn Straight with his soul voice coming in. And to me, this was the song I said, this is nu metal. I could listen to just the song without knowing the band, and I would pick it to, okay, this is 98. This is 97.
Well, I'm laughing because you said that, because this is, yeah, I have in my notes runner up because it's a goddamn amazing song. But the other favorite song of mine was what the hell did I say it was? I forget now. Anyway, this was the runner up, and it's just funny because you pretty much know what's going to be my favorite.
This is kind of scary. We're doing these shows for too long. What are your thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, this song's fucking awesome too. Like I don't have any like I don't have anything like much to say. I made a note over here that the long notes he hits in the chorus, like, dude, he can fucking hold those notes like crazy. I don't know how you like. I was in a metalcore band in high school, and it's hard to yell and shout. The fact that he can like growl and sound angry for like, there's like a solid like 5 seconds where he's just holding like a single note, like objectively musically, like that's fucking insane. And it comes out a lot in the chorus, particularly in the song.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, this is one of the darkest songs on the record, I think, too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Tim, because that's an interesting segue, right? So when you think about some of the topics on this album, for all the songs that are punk rocky, right? He got into some deep lyrical space. So Stupid was all about racism and bigotry, right? The Box is obviously about TV. Snooze Button's about going back to sleep, just forget about your life. Get Some is about drugs. This song was about the music industry. And for a funky nu metal Santa Barbara band, like it's funny to hear bands that come out of California angry because it's always fucking sunny. It never rains. They never get snow. Like I could see like Disembodied sounding the way Disembodied sounds because all it does is snow and it's cold up there. Like I get it. Yeah. But California, like why would you be mad when it's sunny 318 days out of the year?
I think a lot of people get pissed off of that because they want change.
Yeah.
Like around here, and especially Toronto, you get brutal winters, then you get the spring like we're in right now, then you get that summer, then you get the fall. So you get the seasonal depression and you get the seasons change thing. But I think when everything is perfect all the time, I think that's why a lot of people that are rich are fucking depressed because they don't have nothing to live for because they could just buy it all.
And, you know what I mean? And then they're in California and it's always nice and they never have to worry about rain. And it's like
you never wake up and accomplish anything or get happy at something you accomplish because you don't need to accomplish anything. You already have it. So I think that's why a lot of people over there get like that because it's just perfection all the time.
Exactly. There's this one lyric in the song. I don't know what comes before, but Lynn yells, "The hate defeats our purpose." And it's like, holy shit. Like, I would never think that someone as fucking badass as you would have to, living in California would have to deal with something like that. Like, it's,
Well, I think a lot of people look at people that are in bands or that are rich and think, oh, they have no problems. They're just, rich and they're
just have
popular.
Different problems.
You just have you have rich people problems.
Speaking of rich people problems, I was dicking around on YouTube before, and I came across a video of Linkin Park in Penn Station in New York in the subway. And it was Mike Shinoda and Chester and a couple other people. They crashed like some busker and they played In the End, and Mike Shinoda was playing the keyboard and Chester was singing, and they had all the people in the audience singing Mike Shinoda's parts. And it was just amazing to see. Like, it gave me chills. Like, I know we're going to deep dive on that Linkin Park album, and it gave me chills. But then you think of Chester, and it's like, you got, again, we talked about this last episode, just mental health is not just the lack of mental illness. And there are people who, even though they have, to your point, Tim, have all this money and have all this fame and all this notoriety, they're kind of just unhappy inside. And it does kind of make you wonder. It's like, man, I don't kill myself, and I got this giant mortgage and fucking bills, and I got too many dogs upstairs. It's like, shit, kind of makes you wonder.
For sure.
Yeah, but if you had as much money as the rich people, how many more dogs would you have, though?
I would just have a bigger house with bigger problems. It's just be bigger problems, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've said to the wife, I don't need a house. I could live in a refrigerator cardboard box in Times Square and be totally happy. I don't need things to just get in the way. So let's move it along.
Before we move along, though, I think this is the newest, and I say newest as an NU track on the record.
Absolutely.
I would agree. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Which leads to, I think, one of the punkiest songs on the album. This is track 12, Takato. This is 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Punk. This is hard. This is like a hard funk song.
One of the most infectious groove tracks on the record.
Yep. My notes here is the drum bridge with the cymbal work is unreal.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad that you noticed that kind of stuff.
Oh, he was the more we do these things, the more I start to pick up on stuff that I don't remember when I was a kid listening to them. And now it's like, man, I kind of missed that. I never caught that the first time. And now it's like, shit.
And I think having the musician on here, like with me doing it with, I think I say all that kind of stuff. So then you're like, you know what? You start hearing it, I think.
Yeah, I do pay attention to it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, totally agree with the punk thing. There's even this one part in the song where he yells like, "Are you fucking kidding?" And that that fucking line, that every time I hear that, it reminds me of Ian MacKaye when he goes, "Do you fucking get it?" Like that's, I feel like it's almost like a direct inspiration. Like this is like actually like a punk rock song. Like I see the straight edge influence there, with the the Minor Threat and the Gorilla Biscuits, and it's so solid. And I also made a note here. I get, like, I'm only saying this because I grew up more with System of a Down than I did this album. I almost get System of a Down vibes from this song.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah, he goes from like, the verses have like these super fast out of control drums, and they get like really rhythmic during the chorus and a little bit less crazy. And that kind of reminds me of Toxicity era System of a Down.
That's surprising to me.
I could kind of see it. There's no banana terracotta pie though. Banana terracotta. No, none of that. Yeah, but no, totally agree with you, Jan. This is a punk rock song for sure. This is straight up punk, which leads to the next track, which is, again, this is some serious punk. This is Mr. Brett, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Guest vocals of our Theo Kogan from the Lunatics. So I did some homework. This is about Brett Gurewitz from Bad Religion and Epitaph. And when they interviewed Lynn and they asked him, why did he talk shit? His response was, punk songs have to be about talking shit. I like Epitaph. I like Bad Religion. It was just a target, no hard feelings. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool, right? That's like, somebody like imagine Code Orange coming out with an album where they just talk shit on Jesus Piece for an entire song. And then they come afterwards and Jamie's like, yo, I love Aaron and Jesus Piece, but we're just talking shit. It's just, it's all good fun. You don't like it, Tim?
I'm not gonna say anything about that. I'm having a cough fit over here. My bad. The allergy season is destroying me this year.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. I just been breathing snot. What are your thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, also totally punk rock song. I made a note here. This is, this can pass for a Distiller song or a Casualty song, especially Absolutely. With the female yelling vocals. It's unreal. Like it's so the fact that they can merge punk rock into nu metal at all is kind of surprising, especially with the vocals and the musicianship. So good. I had no idea that the song was about Brett from Bad Religion until I started doing research, and I was like, oh shit, that actually kind of makes sense. All the lyrics and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's cool. It kind of represents that like no fucks given attitude that new metal has. Like,
Doesn't at one point he say out of touch old guy?
yeah. Yeah. And you know, the fact that he says that and can still be a fan of the band, that's dope. That's
like,
really
dude,
fucking cool.
I'm just talking shit. Don't mind me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so good. This is like, you know, like to me, like if I were to hear this without knowing who Snot was, and you told me this was, you know, it came from the same group of bands that the birth like leftover crack and choking victim, I would have said, yeah, totally. I can see that.
I fucking like this kid. I goddamn love leftover crack.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
We're after this deep dive, we're gonna get more into new metal shit. So this is
we're
gonna be like a deep dive and some other stuff.
And then
So
we're gonna conference in Holiday, and he's gonna blow all of our minds. You want to talk about high energy? I love Holiday. He
great,
outpaces me, and I'm like a crackhead most days. Okay, so 2 songs left. First,
hold on a second. Is this the Mr. Brett track? Is this the most punk track on the record?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because that's what I wrote down. I also will say though, I don't like the other vocalists in this song.
See,
who is it again?
Theo Kogan. It's a girl from the Lunatics. See, I kind of think the punk stuff that they do is very much, and Noah's right, casualties, like Cockspar, sneering. You know, like a sneering punk rock. More Johnny Rotten than like more Johnny Rotten punk rock than like Ramones punk rock. And this song, it's just, you can see him kind of like curling his lip as he's spitting out lyrics the whole time, even though he's only trying to be funny.
Yeah. I still can't believe you said leftover crack. That's amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Tim's mind is blown.
Yeah.
So let's take it home. We got 2 tracks left. First, we have the last instrumental, Get Some Keys, 2 minutes 46 seconds. I don't think we can say much more than, you know, you put this, Get Some ODs, and 313 together, and you got a pretty good driving mix for at least 20 minutes. It's a quick 20-minute car ride.
Yeah. This is one of the best songs on the record as well.
Yes. As far as the instrumentals go, this is the best one, I think.
Yeah, the guitar work is fucking incredible in this song. It's also got that snare drum work that I love in here. The snare sound of this record is great as well.
Did you see that post somebody posted on, I think it was Facebook, where they said if Saint Anger had the same snare sound as Chocolate Starfish, there'd be world peace right now?
Yo, to me though, this song is like doctor's office waiting room music.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what I meant when I said earlier, like this album has elevator music. Like,
you're right.
Muzak. It's Muzak. Yep.
Yeah. For 100%. Yeah, it's cool. It's like it's also like 313. It puts you in like a dream-like state. Are you guys familiar with like vaporwave, like that?
Oh fuck yeah.
Genre? Yeah, like this is like the predecessor to vaporwave.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's like the song where you're sitting in the waiting room and people are coughing around you and you're just annoyed, and it's like on the radio.
I'm gonna get sick, and it's this asshole's fault, and I'm really not gonna be happy. And let's take it home. Track number 15. So this is a fucking 12 songs if you take out the instrumentals. This is 2 minutes 58 seconds. The song is My Balls, and again, a punk rock band from Santa Barbara ending a song with My Balls, Your Chin. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's a gimme. It's a gimme.
It's almost just like it's like a fuck you track.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
I remember I totally forgot they did this track when I was listening to it on Friday. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't really need to hear My Balls, Your Chin anymore.
Yeah. What's cool about the song is like it's not a sexual song. This is like a fuck you, I'm gonna teabag you kind of song. This is like My Balls, Your Chin was kind of like a meme on the r/new metal subreddit for a while. Like somebody would just like make a post that said My Balls, and somebody would respond to Your Chin, and that was just like a thing. But yeah, like like Tim said, there's not much to say. It's just fucking, you know, it's My Balls, Your Chin. Like that's what this song is.
Yeah, it's kind of like at the end of the 4th listen, I was just like, all right, I already know what this one's about, so I'm just gonna go to the new death metal record.
It was easy to tune out. So I think we could all agree that this is truly one of new metal's it has a cult following now. I don't think it had the following. I don't remember it having the following it did when they were first around, right? I think him dying and actually kind of increased their legend status because it was the promise of something that was never going to happen. This is the band that whenever I think of the example of a band that can't replace their lead singer and carry on, this is the first one that always comes to mind because there was no replacing him. I mean, no offense to the guy from Bad Wolves. I'm sure he had a lot of fun, but there is no poor second to the energy and the insanity that was, Lynn Straight. Did you guys, well, I know we're not going to deep dive on it because I don't think Tim and I'll ever get around to it. If we're still doing the show in 2026, we might get around to it by then. Did you guys listen to Straight Up, the tribute album?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I think it's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think it's good too. It's like a hard listen, It's like when you listen to it, it's like obviously I have like no like deep emotional connection to Lynn Straight or anything, but it's like fuck, man, like what could have been? Like this could be the band that's headlining tours now,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like it's a SAG tribute, like especially knowing that the genre will never be like crazy mainstream again like it was in the 90s. Listening to Straight Up now, it's like fuck, like this is like a tribute to a band that really could have been.
Yeah. And the story is, for those listeners who are not aware, this was all the music that the band had already demoed, but they didn't have vocals for it. This is stuff they had lying around, and after Lynn was killed, they decided, well, let's put that stuff out. So it's very raw. I know Mikey Doling does not reflect highly on this album. He's not happy with it. And he said, if given the chance, he wouldn't do it again. Angel's Son was probably the big one. That was with Lejean and Clint from Seven Dust. You had Serge was on a song, and I think Corey Taylor was on a song, and Max was on a song, and Jonathan Davis and Fred Durst and Dez and everybody. So I mean, it was a nice. If you think about it, it was basically Ozfest '98 got together to give tribute to this guy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And again, Absent. This is the first time Absent first showed up on Strangeland. It showed up on this, and then it shows up in the live album, which is fucking bonkers. I listen to that all the time. I put that on in the background.
I think Seven Dust plays Angel's Son live still.
Yeah. So I knew Angel's Son before I ever heard of Snot.
Yeah.
Like I remember I got I from like LimeWire or FrostWire, one of those fucking old bootleg sites, downloading like a bunch of Seven Dust songs, and Angel's Son was one of them. And like that was just a Seven Dust song to me. Like I had no fucking idea that was, Snot,
Yeah. It's
a great track though.
Interesting story about that song. I did in my deep diving, I came across an article where Lejean Seven Dust was on tour in Minneapolis when he found out that his brother was killed. So that was one of the last songs they played in the set. And like everybody in the fucking venue was crying.
Wow.
Because he made the announcement that, my brother was killed, blah, blah, blah. And he was kind of he found out right before the show. I think they did the show, and that was the last show on the tour because he obviously went home for all that stuff. But I can't imagine like how heavy that must have been listening to, like just emotionally, just fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
So, Jay, out of 10.
Oh, this is 11 out of 10 for me. I before we started this podcast, right, in the 5 years, Tim, it took for you and I first having this conversation, actually starting this podcast, I would still listen to this album at least once a month, at least. I still love the album. I always have. And I love the live album. And I Absent is probably one of my most played songs. If I went through Last FM and looked through my Scrabbles, it's definitely up there. I just think it was a perfect melting of all these different genres and a band that truly made it their own. And he was, one of the million.
Yeah. Noah, out of 10.
Yeah, this is also like an absolute 10 out of 10 for me. This is like, there's no song on this album that I dislike. Even the weak points for me, in quotes, are strong objectively. Like this is like everything from the lyrics to the actual musicianship itself. It like makes me like proud to be a fan of this genre. This is like the defining nu metal album for me.
I mean, I would agree. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 for me. I can't go 11 out of 10, but
see, this is always one of my favorites. And I mean, I remember seeing them open for Machine Head, open for Soulfly, Ozfest. I was like, Jesus, these guys, I mean, and they toured for 19 months straight off this album. They just didn't come off the road. And then when they did come off the road, well, there you go. It kind of, Lynn dies, and that's that. But
Yeah.
I still love this album, and I could call my brother up right now and yell "Get Some," and he would just start screaming the fucking chorus back to me. And it's 10 o'clock at night, and he's up in New York, probably waiting on some table. He would literally put his phone down and start yelling the lyrics into the phone. Like,
How old is your brother? Is he younger?
Still older than Noah. So if I'm gonna be 44, he's gonna be 41, 40.
Okay.
But he was my partner in crime. I took him, and I, when I used to go home from college for the summer, I would take him to every show. So we did Ozfest, we did Horde, we did Lollapalooza together, we did Rage Against the Machine. He's the one I took with me to go see. Holy shit! Talk about this lineup. Vision of Disorder touring off Imprint, Earth Crisis touring off Breed the Killers, Another Victim, and Fury of Five at the Tramps in New York.
Dude, I'm so fucking jealous. Holy shit.
Like my brother and I took him to all these shows, and he used to, and then when he got his license, he started going to see shit by himself at the Birchill. So he saw, it was a co-headlining tour between System of a Down and Ultra Spank right after Ozfest. He saw that. He saw Power Man, Cold Chamber, and Seven Dust with me. He's the one. I was graduating college, so I'm not listening to music, kind of, sort of, maybe, because I'm graduating college. He shows up to visit, and he brings a copy of Imprint, VOD's Imprint, which is probably my favorite album of all time. And that's hard for me to say, but yeah. And, I could call him up right now, and I could start going into Deadfall, and he would just yell, "Vive la fucking France, man!" And he'd hang right up the phone, and it'd be fucking great. But yeah, it was a hell of a time, man. It was a really unique time for music, because that heavy stuff ended up on the radio. It's like, what the fuck? It ended up on the radio. All right, whatever, we're going long. All right, so
no, it's fine. But I want to go a little longer about a couple things anyway. But I do want to say, like, since Noah wasn't even born when like Korn's first record came out, stuff like how cool is it for you? All right, let me ask it this way. When did you start realizing that, like, you were into all the new metal? Like, when did you hear the first Korn record, and like what did you think after? Were you like, holy fuck?
So yeah, I think the first new metal song I ever heard was "Tear Away" by Drowning Pool, because that was the theme song for WrestleMania 18, and I'm a big wrestling fan. I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I asked my dad to get the CD for me, and he got it for me. So I listened to that a lot when I was like a little kid, like developing brain, like I'm talking like 4 or 5 years old. As far as deep, like consciously diving deep into the genre, maybe like 8 or 9 years old, around the time LimeWire and FrostWire were big, like those file sharing apps. Healing by Unloco was big with me. I loved that one. Korn self-titled, obviously, so not self-titled. Height of Callousness by Spineshank was huge part of my childhood. I definitely owe a lot of it to the internet, and my parents being cool enough to support the idea that I liked kind of like non-parental music.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to say it too, because I remember back then, like, my mom was like, I don't care what kind of music you listen to, but please don't be going out and doing the things they do.
I was told I can listen to whatever I want, just don't start singing it around the house. And I was like, okay,
like, don't like, because she would see me watching like the Antichrist Superstar stuff and like that 9 Inch Nails VHSs, and she would be like, well, you're not going out and like partying like that, are you? I'm like, no. If you do, just please do it at home. And I'm like, okay. Works for me.
I mean, the fact that Noah leads off with Drowning Pool. What was the other band? No One? Unloco. Right? I'm
Unloco, Spineshank.
Kind of quasi not even familiar with. Like, I've come across Scrape 6 times in the last week, to the point where I really need to listen to that album, because I've never listened to it.
It's good.
It's a great record.
You're talking about the one with the toenail, right?
The Toenail, yeah.
That's a fucking phenomenal
Never heard
record.
it.
Great album.
Wow. Listen to it. It's
very
good,
much
man.
recommend. That was also like childhood. So for me, my going to the genre, my childhood when it comes to the genre is finding shit on the internet. So shit would just like pop, like, so I would type in like Korn, and then the second result, because of the shitty search engine optimization back then, would be Scrape. So I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll download the Scrape album and see how I like it. So I'd be on my like little iPod shuffle, walking around my day camp at 7 or 8 years old, listening to all this new metal. Yeah, but definitely recommend Scrape. Solid band.
It's crazy to me that an 8-year-old knows how to do like an iPod thing, but then I think when I was 8, none of that shit was even around. So
No.
Yeah.
Your parents were hitting you in the back of the head saying, go change the channel, Tim.
yeah.
Yeah. You had to walk up to the TV to change it. Yeah.
Putting
Yeah, no,
pepper in
I'm-
my mouth because I cursed or something.
No, I'm very, very grateful. I'm like very consciously grateful. My parents were cool enough that they didn't tell me don't listen to that shit. I remember, dude, like asking them for Manson shirts when I was like still in elementary school. I went to a Jewish private elementary school, and I'd come wearing Manson shirts, and my parents were
Ooh, you were definitely a fish out of water in that one.
100%.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yo,
So
speaking of that, right? I went to pick up dinner before, and on the way back, I stopped by Wawa to get Mountain Dew because when I run out of bitter lemon, it's going to be Thor Hammers, which is, Tim, if you've never drank them, Mountain Dew, vodka, and triple sec. They're brilliant.
Whoa, yes.
There were two girls in there dressed like Manson fans. Like they had on the fishnets and the cons and the platform boots and the chokers and the black hair, and the other girl had fuchsia hair. And I'm looking and I'm going, am I having a stroke, or is it like 1998 again? Like, is that stuff really back? Like, oh my God, I'm so old. Like,
Everything is back, man.
it's coming back, man. I told you my kickwear jeans, I'm going to be able to sell them on eBay and make a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
My OG
Probably
kickwears I
should.
got upstairs.
yeah, yo, when you guys posted your logo to r/new metal, I remember all the comments were like, I guarantee you, like maybe not all, but a lot of the people on that subreddit are closer to my age. So many people are like, dude, is that the fucking Jenko logo? Like people my age recognize that stuff, like
It's fucking wild.
that
Jake
shit's coming
killed it
back.
on that, man.
Yeah, I found that guy. Shout out to Aloe Bazer. I found him on Fiverr. I pinged him. I said, yo, this is what I want. I want this logo, but I wanted to say this. All right. 48 hours later, he had one for me. I was like,
Beautiful.
the guy fucking nailed it.
The perfect logo.
It
And-
is, man.
Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I love, that's one of the things that I will say, and Tim, I think we've talked about this, the rip-off concept in hardcore, right? Where you pay tribute to another band by ripping off their logo. Like one of the first Deftones shirts I ever saw was them ripping off the Metallica logo.
Yeah.
Right. So why don't we do the same thing? Like, why don't we do New Breed podcasts of ripping off Jenko? We have another one in the works, which is going to be a rip off another early band's logo, which I think is going to turn out fucking wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Eventually,
sick.
we just got to do t-shirts, right? Like, but yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to talk to the guy this week, Jimmy Ferrari. I'm sorry. As he's recording some fucking podcast in like a shooting range with all this background noise. But that was one of the things I'm like, there's a lot of great, the imagery that came out of the new metal time, right? Like every band had an aesthetic. That's the other thing that makes new metal so interesting. Every band had an aesthetic. And if you could compare Cold Chamber to Korn to Limp Bizkit to Marilyn Manson, which is adjacent, to Rage Against the Machine, which was adjacent, their t-shirts, their merch, their albums, everything had an aesthetic. So it's almost instantly recognizable.
Absolutely. It's just crazy, like how big it's coming back, and like bands like Tetrick and all that stuff, man.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So
yeah.
good. So good.
Yo, that I put the new Tetrick record in my top 10 of the year, and it didn't even come out yet because of them 3 singles. How good they are,
Dude, it's awesome. You never listened, dude? Oh my God, that song is so fucking good.
dude.
I,
Yeah,
I really think it's because you're starting to see now an entire generation of musicians and bands who are not afraid to talk about how they were influenced by new metal. Like if you
Yep.
think about it, look at Adam from Orthodox, right? Like he is probably the oldest of the bands that are starting to come out oldest in age. I'm starting to come out and say, yeah, I fucking love System of a Down. And that's where I get a lot of my influence from, and Slipknot Volume 3 influenced everybody. Tim, did you listen to that Catabasis?
I didn't.
Oh, it's great. It is straight. Take Volume 3, take all the radio shit out, and just double down on the double bass. It's fucking awesome. We got to get them on. They're fucking
I'm
great.
gonna check that out.
But yeah, I mean, you have an entire generation of people who are not embarrassed to say, yeah, I like fucking new metal. So what?
Yeah.
And that's basically what it comes down to, I think.
That track, Negative Noise, is fucking amazing.
Oh, so good. Incredible. I know.
It might be my album of the year when it comes out because of them 3 songs are just that good.
That's
And
a
then-
strong statement.
And then the record Freak that they did is fucking just as good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jay, get on that band, dude.
I haven't started my Spotify. I haven't listened to it yet. I finally today just got through the new Purgatory album, where I
Listen to it.
I,
yeah.
again, I am not tough enough to listen to that band. Like, you need to be like 350 pounds and have a Raiders jersey to listen to that band.
I know.
Um,
I was telling my friend.
so heavy.
I was my friend who's also new. I was telling him I grew a fucking goatee when I listened to that.
Yeah, right. Like that, and I got through the new Zayo album, which is amazing.
I
They
have that
are
in
one
my
of those
queue, yeah.
bands where I listen to their shit and I absolutely love it, and then I forget how good they are until they put something else out, and I go back
Yeah.
and I listen, and I go, holy shit! Like, I forgot how good they are. Like, it's the album is just menacing. His voice is just like, it's great.
Yo,
But yeah, I have that.
Best thing ever when I interviewed Dan from Zayo. In the middle of the interview, I stop and I just say, "Are you fucking washing dishes right now?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, I thought that was the funniest
yeah, it
fucking
was what's
thing
his
ever."
name? What's his name? No, it wasn't Dan. It was the other guy. It was Jeff, right? Jeff Gretz.
No, I interviewed Dan.
Was it Dan?
Yeah.
Because I did word art for that, where it had the Ill Street News episode, or whatever. It had the Zayo logo, and it was a big, giant pile of dishes.
Yeah. I'm like, "Are you doing dishes?"
Ugh.
He's like, "Yeah."
You know,
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
"Hey, fuck it, whatever, man."
Got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I got through those two today. And then I had a little bit of time, so I went back and listened to Mood Ring again. Shout out to Hunter Young. That EP is fucking perfect.
yeah,
Phenomenal.
Mood Ring's great.
Perfect is perfect. All right, let's wrap this one up so we can talk other shit. So, find us on. First of all, I want to thank Noah for coming on. I think we set this up like 6 months ago. But thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for taking the time. We're definitely gonna have you on again. We just need to find something else insane to listen to. Maybe we do a scrape deep dive. Who knows? You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at newbreed_podcast, newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. If you like what you heard, if you didn't like what you heard, you want to just talk shit, send over some talk shit. Yeah, because it's punk rock, right? You got to talk shit about somebody. We have a Facebook group out there. It's actually getting a lot of people who are starting to show up and start commenting, which is pretty
man.
wild. Again,
we're
you can
gonna
always,
take over the Reddit and have more members than them.
you can always find us on r/new metal on Reddit. We're always bouncing around, posting some stuff there. I did Twitter, I did Instagram, I did Facebook. Otherwise, I guess to take us home, I want to thank Noah again for coming. On behalf of Noah, Tim, myself, I want to thank all of you for listeners. And until next time, Lynn, take us out of here.
Well, vive la fucking France, man!
All right, we're out.